Welcome, friends. Opening the heart of compassion, receiving mercy, sun and moon of love, bringing it right into our very own heart, and we bow to this place that holds this truth. On the breath. Amen, amen, amen. Welcome, 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 welcome. So let's continue to this beautiful movement, opening the heart. Letting yourself feel really present, opening your breath, and feeling the pulse of your heart, of the blood moving through your body. And feeling our connection in circle, big circle, opening to each other. Let's begin with the invocation. We have our little circle of neighbors and friends here. Toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. And let's travel around the world. I see Baraka and Jalaluddin are here from Germany. Would you share, please?
Dem einen entgegen, der Vollkommenheit, der Liebe, der Harmonie und der Schönheit, dem einzig Seienden, vereint mit all den erleuchteten Seelen, die den Meister, den Geist der Führung verkörpern.
Dankeschön.
And let's go to our friend Jiri in the Czech Republic, if you can unmute and share. Thank you. Basir. Thank you.
Hello. K jedinému. Dokonalosti lásky, harmonie a krásy. K jedinému bytí spojenému se všemi osvícenými bytostmi, které tvoří vtělení mistra, ducha, jenž vede.
Our friend Asaf and Hanifa, would you share in Italian, Asaf?
Verso l'uno, la perfezione di amore, armonia e bellezza. L'essere unico, uniti a tutte le anime illuminate che formano l'incarnazione del Maestro, lo spirito della guida.
Let's go to Russia. And Aliela, would you share in Russian?
Единому, совершенству любви, гармонии и красоты, единственно сущему, объединяясь со всеми просветленными душами, которые образуют воплощение Мастера, путеводный дух.
Спасибо.
And let's go to our friend in Chile, Nurjahan.
Hacia el uno, la perfección del amor, la armonía y la belleza, el ser único, unido a todas las almas iluminadas que forman el cuerpo del Maestro, el Espíritu Guía.
And let's go to New Zealand with our friend Maima. Could you share, please?
Maori.
In Maori.
E mihi ana ki te kotahitanga pule, ko ea hoki te tino taumata, o te aroha, o te whakarotahi, me te ātahua. Kaore he tangata ko atu ia ia, e whakakotahitia ki ngā wairua tūrama katoa. Ko rātou nei te whakatinanatanga o rātou kua whiturangitia o te ngākau arataki.
Amin. Bismillah.
Rahman,
Rahim.
Thank you, friends, for gathering, for joining. As a Sangha, we help each other, we support each other, we make prayer and practice together. And this is a real energy in the world. It's not imaginary, it's something very real. It's so beautiful to feel the circle covering the whole planet and hear our prayers in so many languages. And the one language that unites us is the breath that is breathing through all of us. One breath, the divine breath that gives each of us life. And so we can tune ourselves to the great circle through the practice of breathing. And we'll tune to the elements the way we're given the practice through Pir Murshid Hazrat Inayat Khan. Breathe first in through the nose, out through the nose, invoking healing with the phrase Ya Shafi on the in-breath, Ya Kafi on the out-breath, healing for the earth element of our nature, our bones, our skeletal system, the ground of our being, our stability. Now, tuning our breath to the water element, we breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, invoking healing for the rivers and the lakes and the rain and our tears and all the fluids in the body that bring nourishment and healing. May the waters of life be pure. Again, Ya Shafi on the in-breath, Ya Kafi on the out-breath. Now tuning to the fire element, breathing in through the mouth, out through the nose. Feel the radiance from our heart emanating. We tune to the alchemy of transformation, how we become beings of light, radiating light. And tuning to the air element, we breathe in through the mouth, out through the mouth, refined breath, feeling the wings of our heart, our capacity to be lifted up spiritually. And the last breath of this cycle, the ether breath, breathing through nose and mouth and the skin of the whole body, but there's no motion. It's a breath of stillness. We're breathing in to the healing of the inner life, the purification of our atmosphere, our aura. And we can seal our practice with the prayer Nayas. Let's go around the world with it. Start in Russia with Aliela, please.
Возлюбленный Господь, всемогущий Бог, лучами солнца, волнами воздуха, всепроникающий в пространстве жизнью, очисти и оживи нас, и мы молим, исцели наши тела, сердца и души.
And let's go to Chile. Nurjahan, can you share in Spanish, please?
Amado Dios Todopoderoso, a través de los rayos del sol, a través de las ondas del aire, a través de la vida que todo lo impregna en el espacio, purifícanos y revivifícanos y te rogamos, sana nuestros cuerpos, corazones y almas.
Can we go to Germany and Baraka and Jalaluddin? Can you share this prayer in German, please?
Geliebter und allmächtiger Gott, durch die Strahlen der Sonne, durch die Wellen der Luft, durch das alles durchdringende Leben im Raum, reinige und belebe uns neu, und wir beten, heile unsere Körper, Herzen und Seelen. Amen.
Okay. And can Asaf and Hanifa, can you share, please, in Italian?
Amato Signore, Dio Onnipotente, attraverso i raggi del sole, attraverso l'onde dell'aria, attraverso la vita onnipervadente nello spazio, purificaci e ravvivaci e preghiamo, guarisci i nostri corpi, cuori ed anime.
Grazie. And we'll say it in English here. Beloved Lord, Almighty God, through the rays of the sun, through the waves of the air, through the all-pervading life in space, purify and revivify us, and we pray, heal our body, heart, and soul. Amen. So we have a rich gathering of friends to share. We'll start asking our beloveds Shakti and Tamal to set us off.
Thank you. We're so honored to be part of this Sangha. And with the breath that we attune to, when we thought about how, what do we want to bring to our Sangha and share? It's such an honor for us to be a part of this global community. And for us right now, especially, we're in the Northern Hemisphere. It's the time of autumn or fall. And we're always in our lives attuned to nature. We walk outside. Even though we live in the city, we attune to the natural surroundings all of the time, every day.
Leave the familiar for a while. Let your senses stretch out like a welcome season onto meadows, shores, and hills. Change rooms in your mind for a day. All the hemispheres in existence lie beside the equator of your heart. Greet yourself in your 1,000 other forms as you mount the hidden tide and travel back home into the great circle of the heart. Hafiz.
And when we think about nature, all of the cycles of life, in the spring, as things are growing and reaching through the soil, we love the tiny, tender sprouts coming up. And in summer, in the fullness of the blossoms and the fruits coming into ripeness, we honor that fullness and that richness. And in the fall, as right now, like the pumpkins are becoming full and the squash on the vine, but at the same time, it's a time that the sap begins to recede down into the roots of the trees. And we walk every week, we walk on the same path through the woods, and we honor and we connect our breath to our footstep on the path. And we notice and we recognize these changes. And in the same way, in our own lives, we see and we acknowledge the changes over our lifetime through the seasons of our own lives. And as the sap recedes into the roots, we think of our ancestors and those who have come before us. In many traditions, this time of year is a thinning of the veils between the world of living and those who have deceased. And we acknowledge our ancestors and those who have come before us. And as the roots go down into the earth, as we begin dreaming of the winter months, and the seeds are falling from the trees, the tiny seeds, the larger seeds, all the seeds have their own story. Hidden deep within the seed, there's their story of what is to come. But all seeds have their own timeline. Some sprouts you just put in water and soak overnight, and within 3 days, they begin to ripen and sprout. Others need deep, deep rest throughout the winter in the darkness of the soil, covered by rich nutrients to be stored. And they even need, in this part of the world, a hard freeze. They need to be frozen for up to 8 weeks before they're ready to crack their hard shell and eventually become the oak tree. So we thought to ourselves, what are we planting in our hearts? And what stillness are we looking forward to embracing throughout the winter months? And what will you hold deep in the darkness to be nourished, to be nurtured, to be embraced until, spring? And as a community, how can we hold each other through these dark months? Because the trees, they don't fear losing their leaves, even though it's a death. It's a transformation. Those leaves go to the soil and they become compost for the roots of the tree that will later blossom again. And like our teachers that have passed on the wisdom to us, and we in turn digest that, and how do we live that in our day-to-day living? And Tom has a poem.
Through the silence of nature, I attain thy divine peace. O sublime nature, in thy stillness, let my heart rest. Thou art patiently awaiting the moment to manifest through the silence of sublime nature. O nature sublime, speak to me through silence, for I am awaiting in silence, like you, the call of God. O nature sublime, through thy silence I hear thy cry. My heart is tuned to the quietness that the stillness of nature inspires. Hazrat Inayat Khan.
And another writing from Hazrat Inayat Khan, nature is the bread and wine of the mystic. Nature is his soul's nourishment. Nature inspires her, uplifts her, and gives them the solitude for which his soul continually longs for. Every soul born with a mystical tendency is consistently drawn towards nature. For in nature, that soul finds its life's demand. Art is dear to my heart, but nature is near to my soul. And we want to share an elemental chant that's based in my lineage from my childhood, calling on the element of nature in a pagan chant. So I'm going to put it in the chat bar, and we encourage you you could play a drum, you can sing with us, you can dance.
Change the sound too, right?
We are one with the soul of the earth, Mother Earth. We are one with the soul of the earth, Mother Earth. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The
of the earth, Mother Earth. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. We are one with the soul of the earth, Mother Earth. We are one with the soul of the earth, Mother Earth. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return, return. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you so much, Shakti. That was beautiful, and it's really leads perfectly into what we're going to do next. Everything you said about.
This is my
Oh,
friend
sorry.
Petaluma,
Yeah.
friend and neighbor Petaluma, who has written so many beautiful songs and melodies and chants, and so now here you
Okay,
go.
sorry. So we're going to keep on meditating about this whole cycle, beautiful cycle of growth and release and death and rebirth, and so we're going to sing about seeds and how they grow. They're hidden and then they express themselves. And I mean everything you said was perfect, so I don't want to duplicate too much, but I will say that we are going to sing 3 wazifas in Arabic, and so the first one is Ya Batin. batin, which means the hidden. So we're talking about that seed that's hidden under the soil, and whatever is being nurtured in your heart during the dark period. And then we're gonna sing Ya Mubti. That's the initiator, the spark, that magic, mysterious force that makes the seed crack open. And then the third wazifa is Ya Zahir. Ya Zahir is the expressed. It's out there in the world. It's manifest. So those are the three wazifas that we will sing. And then there are some English lyrics as well, and Spanish lyrics as well, because we do have, we have our friends from South America here. And the other thing is that, in North America, we're going, it's autumn, we're going into the dark, the longer nights, the kind of hidden season. But in South America, it's the opposite, and they're experiencing spring, and also in New Zealand, and so it's seeds and trees and losing your leaves and the whole cycle. It's always happening everywhere. So so it goes like this. It goes Ya Batin Allah, Ya Mubti Allah, Ya Zahir Allahu, Ya Batin Allah, Ya Mubti Allah, Ya Zahir Allahu. We'll do it again. Ya Batin Allah, Ya Mubti Allah, Ya Zahir Allahu, Ya Batin Allah, Ya Mubti Allah, Ya Zahir Allahu. There's the sea. Oh, you know what? We're higher than we're gonna go through the stratosphere.
Okay.
No capo.
That's okay.
No. That's
Okay.
gonna be too high.
It's time for a lot.
No problem. Okay. Ya Batin Allah, Ya Mubti Allah, Ya Zahir Allahu, Ya Batin Allah, Ya Mubti Allah, Ya Zahir Allahu. There's a seed in the dark of my heart, and it grows and it searches for you. There's a seed in the dark of my heart, and it grows and it reaches for you. So it searches, then it reaches. Searches and then it reaches. Okay. So let's do that part again. There's a seed in the dark of my heart, and it grows and it searches for you. There's a seed in the dark of my heart, and it grows and it reaches for you. Okay, and then, so, we're gonna do it in Spanish too. So it's hay una semilla. There's a seed. Hay una semilla en mi corazón. En mi corazón. En mi corazón. Y crece.
Y crece.
That means it grows. Y te busca.
Y te busca.
we're searching. Okay, and then hay una semilla
Hay una semilla
en mi corazón
en mi corazón
y crece
y
crece
y te alcanza.
y te alcanza.
It's reaching. Yeah, reaches for you. So it goes. Hay una semilla en mi corazón y crece y te busca. Hay una semilla en mi corazón y crece y te alcanza. And then, third part is the beautiful zikr phrase that we often sing, La ilaha illallah. So, no God but God, ain't no one but the one. And it goes, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. Let's do that part again. La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah.
Petaluma indeed.
You know, we were in the middle of a retreat, and Petaluma was in the circle with us. This was one of our online international retreats. And she had a dream that night, and the next day she showed up with this beautiful melody. So it pays to pay attention to what's growing in your heart. So many beautiful gifts come through. Thank you, Petaluma. Thank you, Lila. Yeah. And thank you, Shakti and Tamal, for honoring the seeds that are really growing inside of us and maturing at their own beautiful, in their own beautiful rhythm, under all the conditions of our life. You know, we are seed protectors and seed keepers.
Yeah. This miracle of transformation, this miracle of change, of form, it takes place on every level. Last Tuesday was the birthday of my teacher, Murshid Samuel Lewis. It was Monday, and it was his 125th birthday. And one of the incredible teachings of his life that has permeated our Sangha is the reality that his guidance and energy and vision and realization continues in a vital way. It is not bound in time and space by the shape of his lifetime. It has durability into the future, into many, many, many generations. There's a phrase in Arabic that is an affirmation of this reality. We say, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. This means that the life, the real life, is everlasting, it's ever continuing, it's ever living, that the truth of realization is without beginning and without end. It's an ongoing reality. And so our ancestors, the wise ones who have given us some direction, given us some focus, they continue to live in us. They don't go away. It's not over and done. It's a very, very vital and continuing relationship. There's a teaching that Murshid Sam gives. The bond of the teacher and the student is in no way limited by one or the other of them being in the body. That this connection of the heart is an eternal connection. It's a vital, vibrant reality that nourishes life all through time. There's no beginning, no end. So this is an affirmation of this reality. When Murshid left his body on January 15th, 1971, I was very young. I was 25 years old, and I was very touched and moved and impressed by what I had seen in his being and what he had brought to our Sangha and brought to the world. And it seemed to me initially that his death was a surprise and a sudden thing, and very much a shattering of something that I had grown to take reliance on, that he seemed indestructible to me in the body. He had such energy and such vitality. But a teaching emerged in our Sangha at that time in which my construct about who lives and who dies was altered. And we came into the realization that his teaching, his guidance was eternal. It had no beginning, it had no end. His body ended, but his guidance continues. And there was an image that a number of people had recognized at that time, and it came to me also, of the chariot of fire. It's a classic biblical image, rolling through the heavens, rolling in the skies. And that image inspired a song that I wrote to Murshid at the time. And I want to share it with you now, and we'll do it in a very particular way, because the key line in it is the line I referred to earlier, Yahayu Ya Kayum. And that's the line that I invite us all to sing together as an affirmation of the living reality of our ancestors' wisdom and what they bring and what they give to us through us and through our children and students and through 7 generations going forward too. It has no beginning and no end. So the line is this. Yeah. Yahayo Yakayu, 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 Yahayo Yakayu. Ride, 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 ride on. Ride, 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 ride on. Ride, 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 ride on. We saw Murshid getting ready to ride his holy chariot across the sky. All his children cried, praise Allah, chariots coming, praise Allah, praise Allah. Yahayo Yakayu, 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 Yahayo Yakayu. Ride, 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 ride on. Ride, 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 ride on. We hear Murshid's voice, as I'm above, so let ye be below. Be not afraid, for I am with thee to deliver thee. Praise Allah, chariots come, praise Allah, praise Allah. Yahayo Yakayu, 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 Yahayo Yakayu. Ride, 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 ride on. Ride, 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 ride on. Murshid rides forever, on our breath, our blood, our eyes, awakening the light within, the light that never dies. Praise Allah, the chariots coming, praise Allah, praise Allah. Yahayo Yakayu. The next person who's going to share is a very, very dear friend, the secretary of the Ruhaniyat, our beloved Basira Beardsworth. Some years ago, in an act of spontaneous friendship, I received a pair of socks in the mail, and I reached into my drawer kind of blindly today, and out came this pair of socks, which happened to be the very ones that Basira had sent us. She sent a pair to Halima and a pair to me. They have pink polka dots.
I didn't put my socks on today.
But there's something about this pair of socks that is such a beautiful connection. Our feet on the ground, our head in the sound, and
Walking the path.
walking and warming our feet.
And this path that goes back, to the beginning of time, and those are coming after, are following in our footsteps. Beautiful path. And on that note, we're so happy and delighted to have Basira sharing with us today. And you often don't see her because
you see her beautiful art that she sends out and messages to the world.
She sent all the letters
the
that come.
newsletters, all kinds of wonderful things.
So all of that is the work of Basira, and she kind of holds our whole Sangha together from the
heart,
concentration of her heart.
Yeah.
And so on that note, Basira,
let's go
we'll
to
visit
the West
you.
Coast.
And Basira, just forget about the time that I sent.
Yeah, take whatever
and
time
take the
you need.
time that we originally talked about.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the clock. We will end on time, but don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
So here we go, all the way to where are you?
Greetings, everyone. Hi, what a joy and honor to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I'm here at Southern Washington, overlooking the Columbia River and the Columbia River Gorge. So it's raining and cloudy and cold, and we're so grateful for that. Thanks to everyone for putting your spices and ingredients into the pot that we're stirring this morning. I think a lot about Lineage. As secretariat, it's kind of a natural concentration because I'm holding us, our Sangha today, in that, in an administrative way, but it's also a practice, a breath, a concentration, a heart, a love practice that I'm given through this work, and it's actually like that foundational Sufi practice that we are so blessed with in this path, by being able to work directly one-on-one with a teacher in this life. And it's such a noble or precious tradition. And you can look back into the lineage, and every person that's named also held the hand of one-on-one to another person. It's so individual and specific. And it's so broad because, in the silsila, one person's named, but we know this huge community was also with them as we are today. And so I ponder that often, and I often feel so, so grateful to have been lucky enough to have found a living teacher in this life. And so I think we're all very, very fortunate. And the path goes on then through the blessing of having this relationship with the living teacher. As Abraham was saying, when Murshid Sam passed, they learned, they grew, their capacity expanded to the realization that Murshid Sam was still with them. This is the path of Sufism. And so then there's that step of being able to attune and unite ourselves in a very real, active, living way, dynamic, not from just memory, but a living, active relationship. That's another step in this path. So we train first with our living teacher, and then through grace and concentration and perhaps different types of practices, then we can have the capacity to continue that relationship beyond the boundary of life and death. But it continues from there, even from there. So then, as the path is taught to us, then it goes to the attunement to the prophet. The prophets, any of them. And so also the potential is there then to start to unite, to see. There's a teaching I was just reading this morning that Murshid Sam used to tell his students, learn to see through the eyes of Christ and think through the mind of Christ. So there's another step then in this relationship that we first experience with our living teacher. And the final step, at least as it's been written, I doubt there's a final step, but the final step could maybe be said Fana Fi Lila, uniting with the one and only being. So I think about these things a lot, and I had the good fortune to travel to India many times with Shabda and friends, including Abraham and Halima, Waduda, just Aliella, so many of you I've even met in India. And there I started having the opportunity to visit some of the shrines, the dargahs of some of the Sufis that are in our very lineage. And so that really opened up the opportunity for me to try to kind of become more aware of their blessing as well. And so I began a study let me learn their names, let me learn some things about their life that might just be helpful to me. Like, often we'll do the walk, say, of Murshid Sam, and we try to get into his body. We knew he was shorter, that he was very mercurial. So you take on certain qualities and try to, tap into the being through some of those attributes. So I was trying to get some clues as to who these people were by knowing more about their life. And, it's a long story. So one thing I would just share, just because I'm endlessly fascinated with it, and the Chishti lineage is unique, and they're all unique, but it's unique in Sufism perhaps because it began with Muhammad, as all Sufi lineages do, in terms of the names in the lineage. The beginning was, before the before. But it was in Central Asia, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, all in these regions. And with Moinuddin Chishti, he was the first to come to India. And when he brought that lineage to India, that is when it became uniquely identified with dance and music and poetry. There was some of the tradition that, some people at the time were saying there should be no dance, it should be a very austere, sober kind of practice. But Moinudin Chisti had a different feeling about it, and he loved music. So when it came to India, then it started melding with so much of the Indian traditions and even the yogi practices and stuff. And there was 4, at least this is who I'm going to sing about today, 4 great beings who attracted just so many people and attracted a Sangha around them that wasn't limited to wealth or poverty or male or female or even limited by what religion. They were just these magnificent hearts with just a great magnetism that attracted. And they actually, even were a bit of definitely something that all the politicians, the emperors and the sultans of the time really had to reckon with, because their influence was so strong. And many of the emperors became devotees of these great Sufis. Not all of them, though. It got to be that the Chisti lineage had so much influence in the capital of Delhi that one emperor decided to move the capital of Delhi down 800 miles south to disband the power and influence of the Chisti Sufis. What was amazing about that move is that it failed because he chose a spot that had no water. But it did, in fact, the lineage did, in fact, end up moving more south, which is where Inayat Khan met his teacher, Abu Hashim Madani. So anyways, I can go on and on about this. One thing about the silsila is, women aren't named, right? And so I also want to share a song. It's about invoking and in these names. And first I want to say that when we invoke names, my approach to it is not as not in an like I'm idolizing them necessarily. I'm trying to merge with their being. I try to have a sense of reverence and honoring, but not like there's some supernatural being separate, impossible to be with. So I just want to kind of clarify my approach to the invocation of the name. It's like an invitation to, merge, to come in, to know you better. We have to ask. We have to want. We have to, seek in order to receive. And there is grace, there is grace. Sometimes these things happen without, that effort. But it helps to ask. So, but as I was saying about the women, they're always there, but they're not always named. And in our silsila, we do have Murshida Rabia Martin, that she's not actually named in our silsila, but in our Sangha, Inayat Khan recognized her as the very first Murshid in the Western world. So I'm going to invoke Rabia. I'm also going to invoke another Rabia, Rabia of Basra, Iraq. She lived in the year 731, and she's still remembered. She was so extraordinary. I mean, women aren't even named, but she was so extraordinary that she's still renowned and remembered. She was a poet and a very deep mystic. In our own lineage, there was a woman named Bibi Fatima Sam, and she was a disciple of Baba Farid. And at the time, this is in Delhi, they would have meetings of, you know, the ones that had influence. They would have these councils and meetings, maybe like we do now. And one time, Bibi Fatima joined the meeting. And all the men were like, what is she doing here? She's a woman. And Baba Farid said, when a lion walks out of the forest and into the view, no one asks if they're male or female. So again, her being was so powerful that she could not be denied. So we remember her. We know her name. We also remember the name of Nizamuddin, Alia's mother, Bibi Zuleika. So I'm going to invoke these women just to, you know, just an acknowledgement that the Sangha is huge and included everyone. We also have our modern lineage. So we have Murshida Rabia, we had Murshida Viracorda, we have Murshida Kameh, we have Murshida Khadija. Many of these people were friends of ours living. We can invoke them too. They're all, you know, lights and guides and helpers on this path. So I use the two words on this song, the two wazifas, Ya Nur, the light, and Ya Munawar, bringing that light into our own body and trying to be a vessel for it, the one who illuminates. I have it written out here. I'm a very visual person, so when I lead dances and stuff, I make all these cards, and so that people can see the words written. Sometimes they stick better for me. Ya Nur and Ya Munawar, the light and the one who illuminates. And light is often associated with guidance as well. So, all right, without further ado. I got to get the jitters out of my hands and body a little bit. Moinuddin, Qutbuddin, Fariduddin, Nizamuddin. Moinuddin, Qutbuddin, Fariduddin, Nizamuddin. Ya Nur, Ya Munawar. Allah Nur, Allah Nur, Allah close with something that Pure Murshid Inai Khan wrote to his first Murshida Rabia. All the praise of your advancement in this line is due to our masters in the chain, who are sending the vibrations of their joy, love, and peace. MashaAllah, so be it.
Wow, thank you, Basira. I'm so grateful for your company and companionship on this path that we share. And, I think what I'd like to invite everyone to do is to go on gallery view. And let's just see each other. And just kind of feel the company of each other on this path as we walk. Feeling our ancestors, our beloveds, those whose footsteps we walk in. Invoke their presence, feeling them before you. And then behind us come all the future generations, all those beings who follow. And next to us, we have a big pod of company walking together. The native elders, they said, the river is going really fast right now. Jump in, but pay attention who you jump in with. And that's a lineage, that's Sangha. Those are the ones that we get strength and inspiration and feel our roots and this place inside of ourselves that just opens naturally in the atmosphere and the magnetism of these blessings. So just on the breath, just being really present and feeling our sense of connection with each other. And they say, drink through your eyes, through your breath. Amin, amin, amin. So we thought we would revisit as a way to close this seed that grows in our heart. And since we've already learned it, we'll just sing it together and reach out to our brothers and sisters all over. And even though we say these different, at the beginning we spoke the invocation in so many different languages, but in the heart it resonates with the same thing. So no matter what language we speak or where we are, the heart has this connective tissue where we are one. We join in that place of common ground that we share. So important to remember that we're each unique, but we are sharing common ground. You know, we each bring our own special note, and together we make something really profoundly beautiful. So here we go. We'll follow you.
Ya
Batinala, Ya Muktiala, Ya Zahiralahu, Ya Batinala, Ya Muktiala, Ya Zahiralahu. There's a seed in the dark of my heart,
Allahu Amin.
Amin, 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 amin. Let's dedicate our practice. Again, thank you, Shakti and Tamal, for invoking the nature of our being, and Petaluma for the planting of the seed in the dark of our heart that grows just perfectly the way it's supposed to. And Abraham, thank you for sharing your deep heart connection with Murshid Sam and life, and through that, through life. And Basira for really taking us on a journey to the roots of our lineage and into your own heart. And for everyone for being present in practice together. When two or more gather in my name, then we have, this is what Sangha is, and so important, part of the trilogy. We have the teachers, the teachings, and the Sangha. Yeah. So we'd like to dedicate, and we can go around the world a little bit with this. If you wouldn't mind going to gallery view so we see each other. Beautiful beings. This is our big circle. We're stretched all over the U.S. and way into South America, different parts of Latin America, and all the way over to New Zealand and Czech Republic and Russia. Big circle we have together, big circle of interconnected heart. Yeah. So let's, Aliela, can you dedicate in Russian? If you're still here.
Да будут счастливы все, да будут все блаженны. Мир,
Sophia.
And Sophia, we see you in Colombia. I think you're in Colombia, but could you unmute? Thank you.
Que todos los seres estén bien, que todos sean felices. Paz, paz, paz.
Let's see. Jiri, are you still here? Can you do this in Czech?
I am here. I'm sorry, but I'm sick,
Oh,
so my
okay.
voice is really hard. So
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay.
I thought German was
Feel better.
that's a lot of
Yeah, let's go to Germany with Jalaluddin and Baraka
Berlin.
in Berlin. If you're still here.
We are sorry, we always sing it in English.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do it in English then. We'll do that all together. Okay. So you go ahead. You can do it from Germany. Go right ahead.
May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Peace, peace, peace.
So deep breath, everyone. Hello to all the babies who are here. And future generations, blessings on the babies and blessings on each other. We send each other courage and strength and love and compassion. Yeah. And be deep, deep peace. May peace prevail. Amin, amin. Thank you, friends. You're welcome to unmute if you'd like to say farewell. And thank you so much for being in this circle together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Mai desde Guatemala.
Aloha.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gracias.
So nice to be in India with you again.
Dankeschön. Okay.
Love Sophia, love Nathan.
I go, is that all right?
Gracias.
Okay.
Nice to see you.